Hey guys, welcome back to rhrjen. I'm so excited you're here today. You may have noticed I have a very special guest with me today. This very lovely lady. We just came from recording something for her channel, and now we're here to record for mine. And her name is Revealing the Narc. So definitely check her out. I found her because she's amazing on Twitter/X, but she's now got this incredible YouTube channel, and the Sydney twins love her, and now I love her too. So let's welcome Revealing the Narc. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I
Welcome.
love you
Oh,
too.
yeah. So, guys, if you don't know, we just met like 45 minutes ago. We're already best friends. She's like the sweetest. So, I'm so excited to have her. And just to let you guys know, I'm sure you've heard of her, but in case you haven't, she has this incredible channel. So, we're all going to go over her support. It's RVealingthenarc. Right now, at the time of recording, she's at like 7,500 subs. I'm proudly one of those subs. And I know in no time it's going to be over 100,000. She's flying. We'll get into it, but she just started this channel at the end of August. I am blown away by her success. Tell me everything. What made you start the channel?
Okay. So
Mhm.
I okay, in March of this year, I lost my soul dog, and it was like I talk a lot about things that have happened in my life, and by far losing my dog is the worst. And
Oh.
yeah, it's the worst. And I at the time and even now, I'm very selective about what I watch on TV because
Mhm.
it can go into like tears very quickly. So I started watching a lot more about Meghan Markle because I know that it's going to be ridiculous behavior. I know it's going to
Mhm.
be hilarious. So I
Yes.
started watching The Royal Rogue. I started watching You, Winning Communication, the Sidley twins. Like you guys were on my roster every day. Like I
Oh.
watched all of you. So that's
Uh-huh.
kind of how I got into studying her more. And I had a friend and I would tell her, I'm like, Meghan Markle is a narcissist. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, trust me. So she
Oh.
told me, she was like, you need to create a channel. You need to like show me, like, have a all in one place where I can look and you can prove to me that she's a narcissist. Not that she
Mhm.
was like challenging me on that, but she
Yeah.
just wanted a resource. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I did it. Yeah, that's how that happened. It was like end of August, I think, that I started my
Uh-huh.
X account. And shortly after that, I started my YouTube. And unlike
Mhm.
Meghan Markle, I made sure that the username, the email address, and all of that was available. And I wasn't like breaking any copyright laws.
Uh-huh, absolutely. You mean you did your homework? What? What must that be like? No, that's amazing. That's really cool, and, so I noticed in your description, you list yourself as dissecting relationships. Now, only share what you're comfortable with. Now, you kinda made me aware. Do you mind, in case people aren't familiar, how did you how did you get into the world of narcissism specifically?
I grew up around them. And I mean,
Okay.
like, the majority of the adults around me were, and I mean close, like close adults, were
Mhm.
on the spectrum of narcissists. And
Okay.
some, I think, bordered on sociopathy.
Okay.
Not to get too much into it. And then
Sure.
my stepmom, so my parents divorced, my dad married this awful woman who is a malignant narcissist.
Mm.
And I didn't realize she was a malignant narcissist until about 2 years ago. Um,
Mhm.
but I also, I grew up around narcissists, so I think I was used to the feelings of, people pleasing and always judged and always under scrutiny and just roller coasters of emotion. So because I was used to that, I married into that also.
Oh, oh
Yeah, and
gosh.
I didn't realize that my ex was a narcissist.
Mhm.
But when I separated from him, I was talking to my therapist, and my therapist was like, he's a narcissist, right? And it was like,
Oh,
oh my goodness. Like
Oh,
everything made sense. So this
uh-huh,
was around 2020. It was,
uh-huh,
right around the time that the stay-at-home order started. So I've really become aware of the narcissists that were in my life in my childhood,
uh-huh,
and Megan really, really helps validate the
mhm,
behaviors I've observed before, because a lot of times you you don't think that there are people that, when you have so many positive people and you don't have envy or jealousy towards other people, it's very
mhm,
difficult to understand when people have those feelings towards you. Like, because I don't think like that. I don't feel like
sure.
that. When I see
Exactly.
someone, yeah, when I see someone win, I am genuinely happy for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. I
And
I
it's hard.
totally understand. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that there are people that are not like that.
It is, and I think that's how they I'm not suppo I don't know you, I don't know you well, I know you, but I don't know you super well. You sound to me like you have empathic traits as somebody with the same. I can relate so hard to what you're saying, and I think that's why they seek us out. It's because we just assume that they will be telling us the truth, and they will do what's right, quote, unquote, "right," and that sort of thing, and that's not how they operate. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I think it's incredible what you've chosen to do and that you're helping people, through this because I think just by, say, not to make it about me, I feel the same way. So I struggle and I'm very open about having extreme anxiety. And I thought, well, I could keep that to myself, or by sharing it, maybe others will be like, oh my gosh, I do too. And that's what I've found with this community is we can relate to each other. And so for you sharing this, I can tell you're helping people. I think that's incredible.
It is really amazing, and it's satisfying, and it's really why, I mean, other than, wanting to prove to my friend that Megan is a narcissist. I also, the goal is I want to share what I've learned. And,
Uh-huh.
I preface this with I'm not a therapist.
Uh-huh.
I'm not. I've just
Sure.
experienced it for decades. And in
Mhm.
fact, I am going to say in one of my earliest videos, I did an analysis. I don't remember what it was exactly, but someone commented and said, "I'm a therapist specializing in, this is what she said. I'm a
Uh-huh.
psychotherapist specializing in cluster B personalities, and you have it exactly right." And I was like, "Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that." Yeah.
Wow. That's a huge pat on the for you. That's amazing.
Yeah. I was like,
Wow.
"Good."
Mm,
So I've learned
mhm.
a lot, being around it for so long, and I hope that my experience helps other people too.
And do you find it triggering or more healing for you to see, what Megan or whomever you're studying is up to? Does it trigger things for you?
No, it's the opposite. It's completely validating, because
Oh, okay.
it's like, you grow up around these people, and in the way I grew up, I was taught you respect your elders, you don't question them, you just do, you listen to them. And then the the really shocking thing is how family will protect the narcissist. And this is a
Mhm.
dynamic that's like seen everywhere. So when you're a child and you look at these people that you respect that are your elders and they're protecting the narcissist, you
Mhm.
question, like, is it really that bad? Is is their behavior really that bad? Or is this just normal functioning? This is what it's like. Studying Megan is so validating because it's wrong. What Megan is
Yeah.
doing is wrong.
Mhm.
So for me,
Mm.
it's completely validating.
That's good. That's good then that you're able to help people. And because I worried, I worry about I worried that, yeah, I wondered if it would bring up bad things for you, but it sounds like it's the opposite. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
That's really good. And do you have people reaching out saying similar? Like that? Do you find that people also find it helpful to go through this stuff?
They do. They do, and
That's
it's
good.
so I've done a couple of live chats, and there's a lot of conversation that happens in the live streams, and people
Mhm.
comment about their experiences a lot, and it's just wonderful to see that it really is a community, and narcissism has touched so many people, and a lot of times, you don't recognize it for what it is, and
Mhm.
it's very hard to put words to the experience because so much of it is done subtly. I mean, the
Uh,
goal is to hide what they're doing, right? So to be able to talk to people, and then there are a lot of people that were like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. I recognize that this person in my life has these same type of characteristics. So it's like eye
yeah.
opening for some people too. So it's great. It's so satisfying to see that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it would be. I'm sure. And I'm actually so happy to hear that it gives you a sense of healing through that too. That's good. That's really good. Um, so I do want to give you a shout out because you're very popular all of a sudden. Tell everybody who has followed you recently and who has been retweeting you. I'm so blown
Oh
away by
my gosh,
this.
I'm blushing.
No, it's amazing. I haven't gotten this kind of stuff. Tell us what happened. Tell us who it is.
Okay, so one of the first people that followed me, Jen, was you,
Mhm.
and it was,
Oh,
like, so amazing to me. I was like, "Oh my
oh,
gosh, she
nice.
liked my posts."
I
Uh,
do. I do like your posts.
yeah, and then, the Sidley twins followed me, and
Mhm.
that was another, like, fangirl, like, completely
Aw.
fangirling. Yeah, yeah, and then according to Taz, I think, she followed
That's
me.
amazing. Uh-huh.
And then Taz actually did a video a couple weeks ago, and she sent me a message, and she was like, "I'm sorry, but I used a couple of your clips," and I was like, "Please use my clips.
Oh, that's so
Go for
nice.
it, please." So
Uh,
that was really, really nice. Oh, and Steph the Alter Nerd, I
oh,
did a
good.
live,
Uh-huh.
with her a couple weeks ago,
Oh, good.
Resting Dollface, and
Uh-huh.
the last 2 that I'm gonna say, I cannot
Oh,
even believe it. Like,
so cool. Uh-huh.
Dan Wooten and
Woohoo!
Angela Levin, I know,
That's
is cray cray.
awesome.
It's so cray cray. Like,
That's so awesome.
talk about
Wow.
validating, right?
Yeah. So so I had noticed that and I DM'd you and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Hazel 11 retweeted you. That's incredible." Oh God, you must have been over the moon. I would have freaked out.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
I
so
and I
good.
think at that point, I didn't even know she was following me.
Oh,
So and
yes, that's
maybe I should check.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she follows me. Now I'm second guessing
Uh-huh.
myself, but
Well, regardless, she retweeted you twice, so something, yeah.
yeah, it's
Something there.
amazing.
That's
It's so
good.
amazing.
Yeah. Congratulations. But so
Thank you.
that is something that I've come to notice is you're so good at picking out the clips that are so weird of Megan's behavior. Is that I mean, you have a variety of videos on your channel, but is that primarily is that your favorite kind of video to do to point out these clips to show it in action?
So I'm laughing a little bit right now because you just said that I'm really good at putting the clips together, but really
Huh?
it's all thanks to Megan.
Oh. Well, you're good at
Thank you.
finding them, so
The the credit goes all to Megan for not
uh,
being able to have a poker face. So thank you, Megan. Yeah, I love doing those. I love it. And it's always like I'll pick an event and I'll watch it from beginning to end as much as I can find. And I always start the videos with there's no way Megan's going to do anything in this one. I'm not going to catch anything. And within like
mhm.
30 seconds, it's like, "Oh my gosh, Megan. Why do you make this so easy?"
Do you have a favorite clip that you've reacted to of hers?
Oh my gosh,
Is that
yes.
hard to pick? Yeah. Oh,
N
tell
No,
me.
I have a favorite one. I have a favorite one.
Okay.
It's oh my goodness. The Sidley twins actually they before I went on their show, a couple of weeks
Mhm.
before that, they showed one of my clips. Like, they did a 10-minute show, and I was so fangirling that day. Like,
Mm.
I couldn't believe that they, for 10 minutes, they were like,
Uh-huh.
"You need to follow her," and then they showed the clip and they analyzed it, and then they said again, "You need to follow her." And I should mention also that the day before, I had a pretty hard day at work, so then to turn on
Mm.
YouTube the following day and see that was like, "Oh my gosh." So,
Aw.
I'm not, so I'm
Mm.
knowledgeable, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
so the clip is actually, I believe it's one of the first events that Harry and Meghan went to as a couple. It was
Uh-huh.
when they went to the radio station. And
Okay.
what you'll see is Harry is talking to this lady. Well, I think it's a lady. I can't tell. Well, this person, they're talking to this person, and
Uh-huh.
they're doing this handshake. And what you see is Megan is standing in the back,
I know what
and
you're talking about. Yes.
yes, and she's looking at it. She's looking at it, and she's
Uh-huh.
like, she feels left out. Like, to me, at first, she feels left out. So now she moves so that she is at like a 3 o'clock angle or a 9 o'clock angle with the person that's doing the handshake with Harry, and
Uh-huh.
she's like smiling, and she's trying to use her eyes to get attention, and it's not coming. So then she's like, I'm just gonna jump in on this handshake, and it's just the most awkward. Like, I have to tell you, when I discovered that, I was like, no way, no way, what did I just see? This is gold.
That's incredible. Well spotted, well done. Yeah.
Comedy
Oh, that's
gold.
yes. Is that your favorite kind of video to do? Those it's showing like the weirdness, the weird interactions like that?
I think so, because
Mhm,
there are so many of her pushing Harry, pulling Harry, interrupting Harry. It's
mhm.
still, those are still like really, interesting to catch, because there's always some sort of slight variation on it. But when it's like, I mean, when it's ultimate cringe, like that, that's what I love.
Yes, I totally agree. And she does give a lot of that. So yes, you'll be swimming in ultimate cringe for sure. Yeah, if you don't mind, I was on a live stream and how excited I was to talk to you. And some people came up with some questions. So I'm just gonna toss them to you. And again, I understand completely. You're not a therapist, you're not pretending to be a therapist. They just wanted to know your feelings on some of these questions. Answer what you want. Skip the ones you don't want to. It's no big deal. I'm just going to ask you some of these questions. And the first one that somebody had, and what, in your opinion, what are some of the signs of danger in terms of, and that's kind of a hard question to answer. I get it. But I think with just maybe spotting narcissists, is there something that you notice or that you personally have found some signs?
So I do want to say that this is a very serious question, right?
Okay.
Because it's it could lead to, bad things potentially happening. So what I am
Sure.
saying is just based on my experience,
Of
and I'm
course.
I'm not like trained in this at all. But
Sure.
what I notice is changes in my body. My heart
Okay.
might start racing, something might not feel right. I feel like sometimes, when you feel like someone's eyes are on you,
Yes.
that like predatory feeling, and it's a look
Okay.
that Megan gives all the time. So,
Uh-huh.
what I advise people is listen to your body, because,
Oh,
and
okay.
this is something I've thought about, like, I don't know, maybe researching it, maybe writing a book about it. I don't know. But the
That's something.
same
Uh-huh.
neurotransmitters that are in our brain, like serotonin, dopamine, and all those things, those
Uh-huh.
are also all located in our gut. So when
Okay.
people say, like, I have a feeling in my gut, literally
Mhm.
it's the same chemicals, right? Like,
Wow. Mhm.
so I 100% believe that we are trained to recognize danger in our bodies,
Okay.
and to
Mhm.
100% listen to your body when you feel something is off. The other thing I can say is I spent the majority of my life around narcissists. So up
Mhm.
until I'm I'm 42. So up until when I was
Mhm.
40, I was around it all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I had some things happen in my life that ended up causing relationships with the majority of those narcissists to sever. So, I mean, with my ex-husband, like we divorced and other circumstances happened where I broke clear from all these
Mhm.
people. And what has happened to me since then is that I feel I've gone from situations that are incredibly volatile, that you're on a roller coaster all the time, that you're constantly on the defense, to experiencing peace, to being
Mhm.
able to be yourself. And when you kind of cleanse yourself of that, it's like it's like being in the ocean, right? So if you're on a boat in the ocean and it's a storm all around you, you won't notice a wave come through. But if you're in peaceful waters, you will notice the tiniest of waves, right? So for me, I
Mhm.
feel like that's what's helped me. And again, I feel like this goes straight back to like our hormones and what goes on in our brains. When you're used to those extreme highs and lows, you gravitate to those because you're used to that.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and when you know, you it's like how the Sidley twins say, I think it's along those same lines, that Harry needs to be deprogrammed. Is that what they
Mhm.
say? I think that's what they
I
say.
think
It's
so.
the same
Yeah,
type.
something like that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. Like you literally have to get back to center.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very good point. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. It sounds
Oh,
like you've come out of this stronger. It's just I'm sure it's a lot to go through.
it's you know, I said like earlier that losing my dog is the worst. And like
Mhm.
truly, I've been through a lot, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know, it like pales in comparison. And I don't
Oh,
know. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer.
no,
But
no, 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 that's okay. No,
but
that I mean, I yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you grow from these things, you learn from these things, and they've led me to where I am in life today, and I'm very
Mhm.
happy where I am in life
That's
today. So I wouldn't change any of it.
oh, good. That's good. Was there something how did you realize that, in your opinion, in all of our opinion, Meghan Markle was a narcissist? Was there a catalyst for that? How did you start to notice it?
So I don't even know how this happened.
Mhm.
I don't know if like late at night I was clicking on stuff or whatever, but somehow I ended up on Quora,
Okay.
and Quora would send me like a daily email with articles I might be interested in, and one of them talked about Meghan Markle and Princess Charlotte.
Mhm.
And I have to tell, this was probably about a year ago, maybe a little longer. So I'm I'm new into discovering that Megan is a narcissist. Like I didn't follow this before then. So when
Uh-huh.
I started reading about her behavior towards Princess Charlotte, it was very
Mhm.
reminiscent of my own childhood. And
Oh,
really that's where it started because
okay.
you can't imagine that people could be cruel to children. I mean, we know it
Mhm.
happens, right? Unfortunately, and it's really horrible. So I think when I saw that, that's when I started studying her more. And man, like can of worms. Like to me, it's
Oh,
blatantly obvious. Like she can't hide her narcissism at all.
yep, I think you're right. Oh, that's yeah, I think you're spot on. Was there let's see. So that was the Charlotte thing. Okay, and then um let's see. Do you think they asked in your opinion, do you think Harry is starting to realize slash see what Megan is? Do you feel that way? I mean we're just guessing here. Do you think he sees it?
Um, do I think he sees it? I I think he does.
Okay.
And he may not see it in its entirety,
Mhm.
but he's got to reflect on how did, he asks, so how did I get here? I went from, you know, shooting the video with the Queen and the Obamas for Invictus to having to do a skit with very bad acting, right? Like,
Yeah.
and if he really compares his life, the the only difference is Meghan. And
Mhm.
he's got to know in his gut something is not right. You can tell actually he flinches from her a lot of the
Uh-huh.
times when she goes in with the claw. So
Mm.
I think he knows what's going on. And
Mhm.
I think this is why it's really important for him to have some form of support right now.
Mhm.
Because if he wants to get out, he needs help.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, again, we're not diagnosing anybody. I'm just curious. Do you believe that he's a narcissist as well? Do you see him like that or no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Sure. And that's
I
okay.
could
Uh-huh.
see, yeah, I could
Mhm.
see some of it, but I think because it's clear like Megan is the narcissist, I
Mhm.
have a little bit more empathy towards Harry because I've also been there. Um,
Okay.
so he could be. I think he definitely has not processed his emotions after 1997. I think
Mhm.
he has a lot of emotional growth that, you know, he needs to do. And I think like when he talks about stuff, his perception is so skewed. He really believes it. Like what he wrote in Spare may be completely ridiculous to us, but that he believes all of that.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about what you're saying. I'm processing it. I still think she wrote most of it. And he'll just go along with it and believe it. Yeah, maybe so. Mm. Yeah, maybe
She
so.
did, but she's also,
Mhm.
controlling him. And he
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
she wrote it, but he read it for Audible.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
he
I mean, yeah. No, I'm not. Definitely, I'm not standing up for that dude. I agree with yeah, yeah, I think so. Mm. So another question that I got, somebody wanted to know, can you tell us some of the red flags that you noticed with the narcs in your life?
Yes, the love bombing. So
Okay.
when you meet someone and they come on very intense, where they try to create intimacy prematurely, and when I mean intimacy, it's
Mhm.
not just romantic intimacy. It's um I was talking to Resting Dollface. It's opening the door, welcoming in your future sister-in-law in ripped jeans and shoes. That
Uh-huh.
that is creating this false sense of we're comfortable around each other. I can answer the door barefoot.
Oh,
Or asking for the lip gloss. It's creating
uh-huh.
false intimacy where there is none. It
Okay.
takes time to establish trust and
Mhm.
um, respect. So
Sure.
when people come in strong and they're asking for too much of your time, they're actually, okay, I have a really good one.
Uh-huh.
So the easiest way is to say no and look at the reaction.
Okay.
So, for example, when I was on dating apps, someone would say, like, okay, let's talk on the phone.
Mhm.
And I would say no.
Mhm.
If they accepted that, great. But then there are
Okay.
other people that wouldn't take no. So they would, block me or whatever. Or
Uh-huh.
they would push the boundary. Come on, just let's talk on the phone. So it's really the best way to judge is say no and look at the reaction.
Oh,
Are they able to handle saying no? Do they
okay.
respect you with no?
Mhm.
Or do they give you the silent treatment? Do they get mad at you? Or do they try to push you into doing something that you just said no to? So that's another good tell.
Wow, that's such good advice. I really
Yeah.
like that a lot. So test them with a no. Okay. Do you hear that, everybody? Try it. Try it. That's such good advice. I love it. That's really good.
Especially when it's not something really important. Like if they,
Uh-huh.
fly off the handle over not, wanting to go to a different phone number or whatever, like that
Uh-huh.
is such a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Narcissists
Wow.
have a hard time hearing no. So,
Okay.
do it on the littlest thing. And if they react like that on the littlest thing, like you know
Oh,
what's going to happen if you say no to something that's more important or, on a bigger scale.
that is such good advice. That's such good. I really like that a lot. That's good. And then finally, I got such a fun question. I know it's about narcs, but I just thought it was interesting. Somebody asked in the chat, do narcissists do housework? And she wrote, odd question, but but someone really wanted to know. So what is your experience with that?
So I think what I'm going to answer is going to be contrary to what everyone thinks.
Okay.
They do housework. And they
Oh,
do housework so that they throw it in your face.
oh,
That's what I
tell.
experienced with my ex-husband.
Okay.
And in fact, m you know, my ex-husband knew that I'm a good woman.
Uh-huh.
So, in order to justify in his own mind that it's okay to treat me the way that he treated me, he had to cut me down in his own
Oh,
mind, right?
uh-huh.
And it would I mean, he made a song about loading the dishwasher because I did it wrong. So, it
Oh my
literally like,
gosh.
I know it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, listen,
seriously.
if you're doing the dishes, I promise you'll never hear me say you're doing it wrong.
I exactly. So, it was like it was done so that it could be, "You have the greatest husband in the world. I take the trash
Uh,
out and I do the dishes," and, it's like that. Um,
oh.
I mean, that's what I've experienced.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But that's a
Yeah,
funny one.
that is a fun I thought that was just an interesting question. I was like, I've never really thought about that. Um, so yeah, my just guessing, again, I had no idea. I figured the answer would be no, they basically trick people into doing it for them or con people into doing it, talk them into it, whatever, pressure them into it. But no, I see what you're saying. That so makes sense to me. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Ooh, and it
Yeah,
also
and I
freaks
mean,
me out.
and that's actually what narcissists do because they have to. Well, my ex, he wasn't very kind to me, which is
Oh,
Megan's favorite word, right? I couldn't do it if he
yeah.
wasn't kind. It wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense.
If you
And
can, yeah.
yeah, and they have to justify bad
Uh-huh.
behavior. And
Huh.
they justify it by, well, in his head, oh, she's not a good person.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't even
Uh-huh.
wash the dishes. She doesn't even do the laundry. Or, for example.
Right. I'm honestly surprised to hear that they even justify, but I guess, again, there's different types of narcissists, so it depends on, what kind of narcissist you're dealing with, but wow, that's so interesting and also so dark, and I'm so sorry. I'm so glad
Oh,
you're
that's
out.
okay. Me
Yeah.
too. I've learned a lot. And
I
I
promise to
actually
never give you a hard time if you do my dishes.
just please don't make up a song about the dishwasher,
Oh,
okay?
no, my song will be, "I love you for doing my dishes." Yeah. That's amazing.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
goodness, it's funny.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We want to come support your channel. So, of course, we'll all go hit the subscribe button. Is there a video you would like to point everybody to that you want them to start with or just dive in wherever?
Just dive in wherever. I did a collab with Resting Dollface. That was really fun. So, if
Okay.
people want to check that out. And
All right.
yeah, I'm gonna warn people, okay, like my early stuff, I used like an AI voice and it wasn't very good,
Sure.
okay.
Oh,
But
fine.
unlike Megan, I take feedback seriously and
Oh, you're
um
learning, you're growing.
yeah. So I think things just get progressively better.
Okay,
Yeah, so
good.
start new if you're gonna start. Don't start with the old ones.
Okay. We can do that. No problem at all. And I just got done recording a collab with you on your channel. So if you want more of myself and Revealing the Narc together, go find that. Now mine will be posted a little bit later, just for scheduling purposes. But is yours going up pretty soon, you think, or don't know yet?
Yeah, I'm hoping within, hopefully by the weekend.
Okay, perfect. So it should be up by the time this releases, because this will be like a week or two out on my channel. So go find that, where we had a lovely conversation. She asked me some really smart questions. I won't reveal them yet. I won't reveal the narc. But she did a great job. She thought of some really interesting questions, like about Meghan's shopping habit, just different stuff like that. I just thought that was so interesting. And so we had a lot of fun answering questions earlier. So go check that out. And as always, thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to having you on again really soon. Thanks for taking the time with me today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys, go find her channel. Thanks so much for being here. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.